gentlemen, welcome back in the cave. This is Second Main. Chris, this is our first show of Second Main. What are we going to be doing on this show?
Second Main is your premier Magic the Gathering show. We're going to discuss everything from deck techs. We're going to have interviews with different tournament winners that we have here in the store. We're going to be discussing spoilers, the finances of Magic, movers and shakers, metagame in general altogether. We're going to we can do some product reviews, discussing sleeves, deck boxes, that kind of stuff.
Pretty much anything that you want. If you're interested in having us discuss something that you don't see us discussing, throw it in the comments, send us a message, whatever you want to do. We'll discuss single cards, you know, whatever it is. Boxes, anything Magic the Gathering or associated with it, we'll discuss it. Right, Chris?
You let us know and we'll discuss it.
So on today's episode, we're going to be having a discussion, hence the reason we're set up the way we are today, with one of our regulars at our modern tournaments. He's going to be coming in discussing his favorite deck, his previous decks, why he's on the new deck, how he's been doing with the deck. Pretty much just going to be discussing, you know, why he plays, what he plays, and why he enjoys playing Modern. So without further ado, Chris, let's bring in Mr. Mike. Come on in, Mike. How are we doing today, Mike?
Pretty good. How are you guys doing today?
Not too bad. Thanks for joining us for a few minutes to have a little discussion with us.
So Mike, what deck got you into Modern?
My original deck starting out was Boros Burn.
Nice, nice. What were some of the contents of that deck? What were some of the better cards or the flavor cards?
You know, your usual Lightning Bolt, Lava Spike, Goblin Guide, Eidolons.
And now I know you're pretty excited about your new deck you've been building and you've been playing with and you've been having good results with. So what's that new deck? What do you want now?
The new deck I got now is Jund Death Shadow.
Jund Death Shadow. So no blue.
Nope.
A lot of Grixis Shadow running around. All right. So what drew you away from the Burn deck and into Jund Shadow?
Well, with Burn, it's a lot of throwing cards at their face, no interaction. The deck pilots itself. Versus with Death Shadow, you have to worry about you're using your life total in order to cast your creatures that become larger as you pretty much die. And without also watching against people who are throwing Burn back at your face.
I was just going to say, you went from playing Burn to Death Shadow, so now the worst matchup you have is got to be Burn. Yeah, yeah. Taking, you know, initially, you're like, wow, great, I'll take the 3 damage, the 6 damage. My Death Shadow is going to be a 9/9 for a black mana.
Yeah.
Which is great for a little while. And then they're like, here's 6 more points of Burn and you're dead. Does that happen a lot here, or is there not a lot of Burn? Or
I'm not a big fan of when they're hitting me with all these Lava Spikes and Lightning Bolts and then throw Eidolon out. So then even casting my creatures is doing extra damage more.
For sure,
yeah.
For sure.
Well, there was a time there I remember you did have sort of a Grixis-ish build. You had blue in there with your Stubborn Denials and that kind of stuff. What made you take the counter magic out?
My big thing was I had the blue aspect in there for a whopping 4 cards.
Which were Stubborn Denials, Spell Pierce, things like that. All right.
And then as the meta changed up here at the store, I noticed that Spell Pierce became less and less of a need because they held their mana open long enough because it was such a common card for me to cast. Whereas Stubborn Denial was a very good card, but at the same aspect of having only 4 cards that could possibly do anything in your deck, be the only reason why you would run an extra color just did not make sense to me.
Did the unbannings have anything to do with your change?
Not particularly, because Jace has not shaked up the format for me in any way that I've seen, and Bloodbraid has not been a huge impact against my deck.
You added Bloodbraid to your deck, though.
Yes. In my deck, I feel like it works better. I don't feel like it's as good as it would be in the Jund deck itself, which was built around that card.
Was the unbannings a reason that maybe you went away from the blue, like knowing that you could bring a card like Bloodbraid Elf into the fold? Was that a card that really was like, this solidifies the change I want to make?
Actually, 100% yes.
Yeah. It seems like a good fit. It really does. Like Bloodbraid Elfing, I know in a lot of decks, like hitting like Abrupt Decay and a lot of cards like that is great. I'm sure those are things that you've hit. You know, Liliana's, Tarmogoyf's, those cards are home runs off Bloodbraid Elf.
Especially with your build particularly, you Bloodbraid into virtually anything as a home run. You've got Grimflayers,
Yep.
which is awesome. Anything that you hit in your deck specifically is is a home run off Blood Braid, so it fits perfectly into your deck.
Yeah, I feel like it's a good fit. During playtesting or tournament play, you know, have you had some good moments and maybe some not so good moments when you've cast Bloodbraid Elf?
I have had points when Bloodbraid Elf did fall into a Terminate, when we have a gentleman who runs Chalice of the Void and it was on 2.
Hey, it's possible that they won't catch it. You know, you cast a Bloodbraid Elf, and then you're like, you announce your Cascade, and you Cascade and you hit Terminate. That's a couple of different things going on. They may just be like, missed it. What happened with you? Was it missed? Did he catch you? And be like, nothing.
He missed the first Lightning Bolt when he had it on 1 with Karn, and then after he realized that he missed it, after that he caught his triggers regularly, so it was harder to blow through.
Sounds talking about me, by the way.
Sounds like a newer player.
Yep.
Very much not.
New for the deck.
Yeah. Chris does pilot a Neutron deck that's very new to him, so obviously missing Chalice, that's a thing that's going to happen in the beginning.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't miss Chalice triggers.
Especially when you're going up against someone who's running Lantern.
Lantern.
They're constantly throwing extra Chalice triggers that you're missing.
Sure, yeah. Lantern, when they play Chalice on 1, if they remember their trigger, is pretty much game over, but, you know, things happen. So, Mike, you played Red. Was Red a good deck for you, and you went away from it, or was it mediocre? Like, obviously you stated that, you know, just throwing spells at people was kind of getting old, but how did the deck perform? What are your viewpoints on the Red deck?
I 100% believe that Boros Burn earned its title at a Tier 1 deck. My big situation is that we have a meta that's very heavy in counter magic, and there's a lot of people who play Leyline as well, which kind of just hoses that deck at that point.
Yeah, sometimes Leyline can just be, I have it in my opening hand, I'm going to put it in play, and
you can't win.
yeah, sometimes it's almost that academic. Like, it happens like that. Anything else you'd like to add about your deck? I mean, you're playing, you know, the Grimflayers, you're playing literally a Jund build, you're playing all the mainstays, you know, your Tarmogoyfs and all that. What else would you like to tell us about it? Things that you were surprised it does well, or matchups it does well against, or, you know, anything you'd like to add?
I will say previously before, I did not actually ever consider putting Kolaghan's Command in my deck, in the main, but ever since Bloodbraid's unbanning and that entering my deck, running into a Kolaghan's Command is, I always have an option out of that card.
Yeah, that's true.
Very good.
Yeah, you get to choose multiple modes. You know, what is it, 2 out of 4 modes you can choose? Yeah.
It's almost never a dead hit. Whereas Fatal Push or Terminate into a dead empty board is pretty bad. It's basically a whiff.
Even running into Collective Brutality sometimes late game off of Bloodbraid is not that great.
Sure. Well, Mike, I appreciate your time, taking the time out to join me and Chris on our show here. Any parting words before you go?
I don't particularly. I guess if you're gonna pick a deck, try out the meta first, and then test out multiples. Especially if you know a guy named Dylan Torrey, who has 6-7 different ones you can give a try to before you stick with a specific piece.
We don't know him to be a good player.
No. Only a scrub.
Yeah. So, yeah, we won't particularly worry about that. But, all right, Mike, thanks for joining us, buddy. Enjoy your evening. And thank you guys for joining us here at the Cave, and we look forward to seeing you next time.